It's the third video of the day. I would have started it 30 minutes early, but I couldn't do a video on this topic that I'm about to say because it's breaking news. I wanted to see what was happening because it's mind-blowing. Nick Saban is retiring. Yeah, completely irrelevant to NASCAR, completely irrelevant to the news we're talking about in NASCAR right now, which is the new short track package, but that was just such mind-blowing news, I had to make sure it was true. Wow, and I know there are some NASCAR fans out there who are also Alabama football fans, and if I just broke that news to you, you've won like 7 championships, so I don't feel that bad. Anyways, we're not here to speculate who the next head coach of Alabama football is going to be. We're here to talk about the future of NASCAR, the short track package that has been a struggle in the next-gen car. The next-gen car is, as we've said multiple times on this channel, it's been a complete 180 from the old generation of car towards the end. Now, the old generation of car, at the end of its life, it was not really good at the intermediate tracks, Texas, Kansas, Vegas, Charlotte, Michigan, those types of racetracks. But that car still excelled on the short tracks and road courses. Martinsville, Bristol, Watkins Glen, tracks like that. But then the next-gen car hits, and I'm telling you, it was a complete 180. The short tracks, they exist. The racing has not been great on the short tracks or the road courses because these are very similar to kind of a sports car kind of thing where they handle very well, they take turns better, they're much more drivable in a sense. And that's what the old car on the short tracks and road courses had, is that they were much less drivable. In these new cars, they got bigger brakes, I think, which helps slow the cars down. They got an extra gear in there, so that really hurts the racing in a sense. And then the intermediates have been fantastic. Vegas, Kansas, Charlotte have consistently, except for that one Vegas spring race this year. But other than that, the intermediates have been fantastic. I mean, this year's race of the year, 2023's race of the year, was either Kansas in the spring or the Coke 600. 2022's race of the year was either the Coke 600, I think one of the Kansas races, or one of the Vegas races. I mean, the intermediate tracks have been amazing in this next-gen car. So NASCAR has made a few changes to the car, small tweaks, adjustments to try to make the short track better. And they have done it once again. They have made another tweak to the short track package in order to try to make the racing product better. Now, many people have talked about they want more horsepower. Drivers have brought it up. Teams have brought it up. But NASCAR refuses that for some reason. There have been interviews with drivers, teams, engineers, manufacturers, whoever it may be, that have said, yeah, we can add some horsepower. We can't go through the roof like 1,000, but if we upped it from, I think we're at like 620 something right now, I want to say. That's not a locked number. Don't take my word for that. But they could bump it up to 750, I think. Well, NASCAR, once again, is not doing that. I don't know what NASCAR's problem with more horsepower is, but they got some problem with it. They keep on doing these aero changes. But enough of me talking nonsense. Let's actually read what these changes are, and then me, who knows nothing about engineering, will do my best to make it sound simple, and I will probably fail miserably. NASCAR officials announced updates Wednesday to the NASCAR Cup Series rules package for short tracks and road courses in 2024, introducing aerodynamic changes designed to promote more competitive racing on those type tracks. Now, it is to be stated that these will not be in effect for the Clash of the Coliseum a little bit less than a month from now. The preseason race, these will be in effect the first race, or the first short track race of the season, I should say, at Phoenix. This package will also not be used at Dover or Bristol, as those are high-speed short tracks. So NASCAR wants to keep the intermediate packages with those tracks as they have the past 2 years. The key new component for short tracks and road courses is a simplified rear diffuser with fewer vertical strakes. The configuration will cut downforce up front by keeping the engine panel strake-free and retaining the splitter stuffers from last year's package. To compensate for the reduced downforce, competition officials have introduced a slightly taller rear spoiler up from 2 to 3 inches in height with the same length across the rear deck. All right, here's the part where I attempt to explain. Now, the rear spoiler, that's simple. The rear spoiler is on the back of the car. It's on top of the deck lid. And thankfully, I can give you an example because I have here a die-cast car. Now, this is an old generation of car, but the parts are still basically the same. So here's your car. Here's the front. Here's the back. This thing right here up in the air is the rear spoiler, for those who don't know. They're raising it from 2 inches to 3 inches, so they're raising it by 1 inch. Thank you for attending my engineering lecture on spoilers. That will be $10,000. Thank you. Just kidding. Now, as for the other stuff, yeah, I know nothing technical, super deep. I can tell you small things. I can tell you where parts are on the car, but I can't tell you every effect of them. But the rear diffuser has been talked about a lot in terms of the aerodynamics somehow affecting the car. And so by simplifying it from reading this, it tells me that it reduces the amount of downforce. The downforce is what helps the car turn. It helps carry speed through a turn. And by reducing that downforce, you got to go slower in the corners. You got to go slower in the turns, meaning you have to accelerate more. You have to brake more because you don't have as much downforce. Your car's getting slowed down a bit. I have no idea what effects this is going to have. I don't know what percentage change in acceleration, braking, how much more brake use is going to be in it. But they're trying, I guess. I mean, it's not a massive change, it seems like, but they're doing a simpler diffuser, basically rear diffuser, and they're changing the spoiler size in order to kind of almost, it seems like they talk about in this thing about how it basically counteracts the loss of downforce. I guess by getting rid of some of these strakes is somehow just takes out so much downforce. So they had to kind of counteract it so that it wouldn't be too big of a loss by adding 1 inch to the spoiler. I'm not 100% sure, but basically they're making a change to the rear diffuser. They're going to add 1 inch to the top of the spoiler, and that's going to be a short track package. Now, once again, I have no idea how much of an effect this is going to have. I'm not an engineering expert. I'm not an aerodynamic expert at all. I can attempt to put things together, but I will not know a thing about it until I see it on the track when it's being used in a race. And that's about all I can do. All I can do is wait for Phoenix in March, and that's when I'll know, okay, this thing worked, or oh, this thing didn't work. Now, Phoenix may not be the best track to, declare something working or not. But, those first few races, we've got Phoenix in the spring. I think we've got a Martinsville spring race. Then we got North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. So I'm curious to see how much it works. But if this doesn't work, NASCAR's got to do something extreme, to put it simple. The short track racing just has not been good with this new car. It's not been the worst short track racing ever. Remember when they had the 550 package with the short tracks or whatever in 2019? Those were some of the worst short track races ever. But the races at the short tracks and road courses have been rough. They have been tough to watch. And I just want to go back to good road course racing, to good short track racing. And they're trying. They're going to do another change. They're going to attempt another change. And we'll see if it works. I don't know. I really don't know. But if this doesn't work, I think they got to take a massive swing at something. They can't keep doing these minor tweaks that don't work or have like a minimal effect. At some point, they're going to have to take a big swing, try to change something different. But later on in the article, Eric Jacuzzi, who's the NASCAR Vice President of Vehicle Performance, he kind of talks about the different things when they approached their test at Phoenix in December. He talked about the diffuser, see what it does in traffic, see what kind of effects it has. They talked about the tires a bit, but that doesn't have to do anything with the car. That's a Goodyear thing. That's completely separate. But then at the end of the article, he said, Jacuzzi said no changes to the gearbox to eliminate shifting with the short track package are anticipated this season, though he added that there's work ongoing on what can be done there and what will be beneficial to the racing. obviously kind of a vague statement, but some of the drivers I think have talked about the shifting, adding that fifth gear, just kind of, I guess, just not ruins the racing, but it makes it more difficult to pass. Having that extra gear, being shifting all the time at Martinsville, has just made it more difficult to pass, things like that. So, yeah, in conclusion, they're going to change some things on the car. The rear diffuser's getting changed a bit. They're adding an inch to the spoiler. Once again, it seems like these are minor tweaks, nothing drastic. We'll see how it turns out on track. I have no idea what it's going to do. I'd like to be optimistic, but the last few changes they've done have not really worked out great. So I don't know how to feel about this. But yeah, we'll see how it ends up going. If not, I hope they can increase the horsepower at some point. I don't know. I don't know at this point. I'm not an engineering expert. I'm not a financial expert. Speaking of, there is somewhere in that article, I'll put the link in the description, by the way, that does say something about cost. It says, It says that Jacuzzi also said that the new simplified diffuser would signal a cost savings for the team. So they don't have to spend as much money on these rear diffusers, and now it's saving the team's money. So that's a benefit for sure, regardless if the racing's not good. At least the teams are saving money. There you go. But thanks for watching this video. We've had 3 videos today. It's been a busy news day, from the new NASCAR trailer dropping for Netflix to Gunter Steiner getting fired or leaving, whatever the official terminology is there. And then this, the new short track package. Will it work? Will it not work? I'm curious to see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this short track package is going to work? Can you explain to me in very simple terms what it actually means and break it down for me? That would be very nice. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good day.